This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
So anyway, I was just trying to think, brother, of different things, prepare for some more violence in Ukraine. Trump's going to get us in the war. If y'all notice, the United States, like the Israelis, got the Russians' plane shot down. The Syrians blew up all these Russians. I mean, all this stuff's going on everywhere. In fact, I got to give y'all some international news. Let's get off Africa for a second. First and foremost, a lot of people don't know Yemen, which is on the southwest corner of the Arabian Peninsula. The people there, at least half of them are black. That country is being starved to death by the Saudis, the Israelis, and America and everybody. So that's a lot of black folks suffering. Not all Yemenis, but a significant number of black. And I don't know if you've heard that those folks now have drones. I don't know who's helping them, but they're blowing up stuff in Saudi Arabia. I mean, Saudi Arabia may go down the next few months as the Yemenis get more desperate. I mean, can you imagine this country that everybody thought was like the Flintstones with some camel herders in it? Mm-hmm. They're like blowing up tanks and stuff with drones, attacking airports. They've been bombing Aramco. You're talking about oil? The American Arab oil company, Aramco, they were bombing their refineries within the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Now, how long before they start bombing their stuff up in the Shia port? That Saudi Arabia is falling apart. Don't be surprised if there's not real situations occurring there. The Yemeni situation becomes more acute. 5 million children starving. They expect as many as 20 million people to be food insecure between now and the beginning of the year. You need to know something else that will blow your mind. There's all this money that was put in the budget for the 400th anniversary of this black enslavement thing. Even Trump has signed something. Have you heard about the white folk who are now getting DNA tests trying to get the money being set aside for black people?
No.
This dude who's 5% black or 4% black, 6% Indian, who's trying to get a minority deal as a life insurance dealer since he's just 90% white. Mm-hmm. Get ready for all of these people to start trying to run this black card after all of our lives being humiliated and insulted and called niggers and all this other stuff. Now, there are going to be all kinds of people calling themselves blacks to get the benefits. Is there precedent for this? Yes. And Brazil, when they began to put money in the budget for affirmative action to remediate the problems of Afro-Brazilians, large numbers of white people started acknowledging their black ancestry to get the benefits. These white people taking these DNA tests are now looking if they're marginal whites or they want to get some extra reach. It's to claim access to money and funds that have been allocated for us. So it's the new robbery will be genetically claiming the one drop rule to enhance someone's white status instead of us being predominantly black and our heritage getting a share of money put aside to remedy our problems. I hope this dude loses the case. I hope a bunch of us come together and start saying you being part black ain't enough. Which church you belong to, which plantation you came from, which organization, which HBCU did you go to. If you don't have those qualifications, you can't be one. Even the people in Hawaii have such a standard. You have to at least be 30% Hawaiian to get the Hawaiian stuff. Mm-hmm. You can't just walk up in there and say, well, my great-great-great-grandmother was Hawaiian. They were on the whaling ship. You remember Moby Trick? Oh, you didn't hear that one. That was a black boat, right? And they're not going to let you do that. We need to do the same thing. In fact, as the census comes up, this is really beautiful. You know that the government now wants to know where people come from. expect an explosion in people trying to marry you. If you're a Black American and you're single, if a whole bunch of people start winking and blinking at you and they're foreign Black folks, they're probably trying to make certain they don't have to leave. But just let them know that the United States Citizens Investigation Services will deport you over false marriage. I don't know if you've heard, but all this stuff has been implemented. If you get food stamps, you got SNAP, you get anything, and you're trying to come into the United States and get citizenship, they're working on denying that to you. Being a Black American, as bigoted as the Trump administration can be, it has just added a whole lot of value to having been in the United States a long time as a Black person. Even though they're not trying to necessarily help us, it helps us for people to establish that there's been a presence for some people in America for hundreds of years. And the more recent people who don't want to be connected or have any relationship with us, but want to ride our privilege without dealing with us, they're going to be rudely awakened by the reality that the white folks who let them come over here to play a game on us have decided that they don't like their own game anymore. And now they're going to do a reset. And they would rather have their own Black folks that they can't stand than new Black people that they can't stand. It's different things coming out. Like, did you see the man that was in the border security forces that was a serial killer, that was Spanish speaker?
No. Wow.
Says this dude was out there, he killed about 5 or 6 people that they know of.
Wow.
They began to report crimes committed by Spanish-speaking men like never before, because they're beginning to prepare white people for mass incarceration of Latino men because they're criminalizing them. This is intensifying. And you're going to see a greater effort to lock them up like they've locked Black men up. And this is going to blow their mind because a lot of them get breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I see people driving without license tags, drinking with open cans of beer. I've seen Black folks just get stopped walking down the street. Nothing. They're now beginning to expand this. After November, after the election, whether session stays or goes, you're going to see a greater repression of people who are from other countries that are here. It's not that I want people persecuted for being international. That's not what I'm saying, because people read it that way. And I know a lot of Black folks that get all upset about internationals and so forth, but they haven't factored in that if people come to the United States without the desire to in any way work with our community, not like Stokely Carmichael, not like Wilmot Edward Blyden, not like Marcus Garvey, not like what's his name, Arturo Schomburg, who's Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not coming, or Shirley Chisholm, if you're not coming to bond with us, and we're in a white supremacist society, then you necessarily are against us. Do you know that they're using mercenaries, some of them Black, from other countries, to hurt and persecute Black folks in Florida?
Mm.
Did you know that they're using a large number of Caribbean Blacks to harass Blacks, African American Blacks in New York City? Putting them on the police force because they know that these people will not, they don't deal in Blacks like, you know. A lot of them have played this game.
Mm-hmm.
Played the game, and hey, I ain't with the other people, which I'm not mad at. By the way, you never hear me say they have to be involved in us. No, they don't. I respect that. There's differences in the diaspora. There's differences, there are particularities. I'm not a deep Southerner. I'm not from Mississippi Valley like you. We have some differences. I'm an Upper South Negro. I met people in Tennessee who considered me a Northerner. I met people in Massachusetts that considered me a backward collard green and biscuit eating nigger from the South who had nothing to do with me, wouldn't even speak to me. There was a difference. I mean, we were all black. In fact, there were two fine girls I used to ride the number one bus from the rough part of Massachusetts, Boston area, Mattapan, all the way into Cambridge. And those sisters, in 4 or 5 months, they would never say good morning to me, no matter how many times I spoke to them. I just happened to be walking down 6th Street on Howard's campus with one of my buddies, Eric, talking about how cold and unfriendly Northern black people were. And the girl, there were two of them. One was dark skinned, one was light skinned. One of the very people I would stand next to that would even turn so I couldn't speak to them. I wasn't groping or harassing them, but we take the bus every day. You know, you can relate to that, right? As a Southerner, right? You speak. I can see if I'm asking where you work, how much money you make, where your boyfriend live at. But yes, good morning. Yes. And she was walking down the street, and I said, "There she goes. It's the one that never speaks to me." She said, "Hi, how you doing?" She's so friendly. I says, "You can't speak to me." Oh, I mean, I rode the bus before, and she says, "I'm so sorry. I'm just used to not talking to people up there." When she got down here, she liked it. You can be nice to other people. You can be friendly. You know, so I'll talk to people. You know, in D.C., everybody speaks, and we're going to talk about you anyway. So you may as well say hi. I know what your voice sounds like, but that's a difference. So there's a difference between New Orleans. You know, if you go to certain places like in Boston and in Western Pennsylvania, where I have family and everybody has a white girlfriend, I don't understand. I don't visit much. Ohio, everybody's got a white woman. I'm having nightmares, right? And then I go, you follow what I'm saying? I go to my family in Miami. The folks are a little more Caribbean, but, you know, they're darker, whatever. I'm not mad. I think they look nice. I mean, all over the country, you know, but we're still African Americans, right? But we have differences. So I get it. When someone's from Jamaica, someplace, they don't feel nothing for us. But wait a minute. If you don't care a damn about me and we're in a situation that's tense, and you can go either way, I can't rely on you. I don't know what to do with you. I'm going to stay away from you. I'm going to stay away from you. If they come and deport you, well, shoot, what difference does it mean you don't like me, right? I don't matter. I'm a Yankee. As people, I learned that. Hang with Caribbean. You mean you don't see me as a black person in the diaspora, but I'm like an enemy. I'm the same as, and then it's interesting. You call me Yankee and you love white people, but you hate the black Yankee. So it's bull crap. They don't hate the white folks. They hate us. And I have friends in Europe, and I try to explain to brothers in England, hey, I'm not mad at anybody. I always tell people, you've heard me say, I have family from Haiti. I have family from Barbados. It's fact. Family from the Dominican Republic. But I'm a black American. On two sides of my family, people could be classified as Latino, right? But, you know, yeah, si hablo español más. Yo soy African Americano fuerte. I'm a proud black American. And Nat Turner, Malcolm X, black American, right? I can speak some French too. And all this stuff I'm learning about the Spanish and French heritage in the family in New Orleans, I learned that as an adult. So I came up like you, Jackson 5, the Silvers, right? The Crusaders, Billie Holiday, right? That's the only thing. Soul Train. The Soul Train, right? That's me. Amuri Baraka, the Swats, right? That's okay. And my folks didn't know anything either. So everything is black. And so, you know, you can have a diverse heritage, but you can identify with the struggle of the people here in the country where you're working, earning an income, living, benefiting from generations of struggle. To come and ignore all that and expect the same benefits is parasitic, plain and simple. when I go anywhere, I have friends in France, and everywhere I go in Europe, I always check in with the Black community that's there that I know that's there before I even go. Except if I went someplace. In fact, I think even when I went to Germany, I at least tried to hook up with the Black Germans I knew before I got there. I go to Belgium, I'm with Black folk. I go to Switzerland, I'm with Black folks. And in France, I'm with Black folks. When I was in England, I was with Black folks. In Ireland, I didn't know any Black folks. I stayed to myself, right? Mm-hmm. It's just plain and simple. Where else? I mean, if I was in the Netherlands, I'm gonna find where the Black people are, and I'm gonna say, hey, look, I'm not identical to you, but I'm on your side because I understand we're under attack as a people. If I went and I said, hey, F y'all, I'm gonna get mine, whether it hurts you or not, those folks should hate my guts, and we should reserve the right to dislike and revile people who step into the middle of this racial war that's being waged against us, get the benefits off of our struggle, and then either be in the middle and be in between, undecided. Can you imagine if you were in a house and there was a home invasion and you had a guest and they didn't know whether they wanted to help resist the home invasion or mind their business? Mm-hmm. Would you ever have them in your house again after that was over?
Oh, no.
Exactly. Well, that's what foreign Blacks are doing here. This is what they're doing. They may not be aware of it, but damn it, at a certain point, you know that Black folks are not treated fairly. They're not liked. They're reviled. And if you don't ask yourself, well, wait a minute, why not? Why is this happening? Or if you say, well, they must be bad, that's the reason, then you're an enemy. You bought into white supremacy. You did that. You get where I'm coming from. I had 2 Nigerian broads try to humiliate me at some party. I don't know why they do that. I mean, me trying to embarrass me. So they were saying all this bad stuff about Black Americans hating Africans and how we all hated all Africans. I think, what are you talking about? So you mean some don't? You're talking about 50 plus million people, right? Mm. You can't say all of that about some. I'm certain I agree with you, and they just insisted on it because they wanted to be able to say we hate all of you because all of you hate us. And so I don't want to see anyone Black that likes me or respects me because that would mean I'd have to consider them. So I'm trying to. It's the same thing the Asians did. The Asians in California pretended that Black people exclusively attacked their stores in South Central Los Angeles. Koreatown was attacked more by El Salvadorans and Mexicans and Blacks. But because the Koreans want to be closer to white people, they went along with the narrative, which they call Saigu, that Black people just attacked the Koreans. Mm-hmm. Without talking about the Chinese woman or whatever she was, Vietnamese, whatever the woman, who killed Natasha Harlins, blew the girl's head off for a bottle of orange juice that she paid for. Right. Her name was Miss Du, right? Mm-hmm. That the Black, trust me, if that had happened over there, they would have done the same thing. In fact, it wouldn't have been years later, it would have been right away. Anyway, they used their power and their influence to get this woman off for cold-blooded murder of a Black child. Mm-hmm. Now, but they wanted to be close to white people, so they pretended. Even though 70% of the people arrested in the Los Angeles riots were Spanish speakers and whites, they made Black people the only people who did anything. So they could see we hate them too, right? Punish them. If you play that game, you're my enemy. Even if I don't have a problem with it, if you come to be against me in a white supremacist, you're an enemy. There's a declared war, you pick sides. Now, where that puts us is that anybody that doesn't choose to either be neutral, to say, I won't do this, I'm not going to fight the Black man in America's struggle for him, but I will not be used against him. I refuse to do that. Like the Japanese in Los Angeles get along with Black folks. They're not the enemies. We didn't put them in concentration camps. The Japanese clearly are not Black, but they're not actively working to be against Black people. Mm-hmm. Even though, they don't care, but it's okay. I don't need them to love me. Just don't try to destroy me. Mm-hmm. Are you following me? A lot of the people playing this game, and we have to begin to throw the gauntlet down, and it's already being done. It's interesting. The white nationalists are actually doing it for us, and it'll be very interesting to see how many people are going to not claim to be black in the census because they want our numbers smaller, which is fine. And what many people don't know is that many of these foreign black folks have asked, we don't want to be identified with them. We want to be in a separate group. They're going to get their wish, but then that's going to backfire on them, because once this understanding grows, a lot of people are going to say, well, wait a minute, your folks weren't marching in Selma here. Your folks weren't in Durham, North Carolina. Your folks didn't, we're not mad. Yes, you're black. All these laws and things we struggled and we fought for, that was for a specific group of people. It's not for you, Indian and Silicon Valley, who's as dark as I am. It's not. I'm not mad at you. I don't want you to be discriminated against, but you have nothing to do with that struggle, right? So you shouldn't benefit from it. And it's dirty. I can't go to India and claim to be Indian or a Dalit or whatever, because no, I won't. They'll tell me I'm exactly who I am, where I'm from. We need to get there very quickly as a people. And we need to make it very clear to folks, we're not mad. Anybody that comes here legally, I guess, is welcome. But everybody that comes here is not an African American, or whatever we call ourselves, Black American, African American, Indian, whatever. The people who've been here for centuries, if not millennia, are not the same as people who showed up with suitcases tomorrow. No malice towards them, no anger. If I move to any country in Africa, if I come through legally, people on a certain level will receive me, but they'll let me know I'm an American. Yeah, they will. And they don't hate me. And we have to do the same thing. And those folks who preach this paranoid bullshit, Pan-Africanism, everyone's an African, period, they're useless, because they're not living in Africa talking that. And they're talking this stuff theoretically without anything to show for it. I'm not saying don't work with. I have 2 prospects. Maybe I'll marry one or 2 of them. Both are African. Most of my friends are African. I'm not mad at people being from Africa, but I'll tell them up front. Just because we're friends doesn't mean I owe you an invitation to live here. How much money is that going to cost me? A house you and do all this? That's not friendship. That's damn family. You get where I'm coming from? We have to stop being pimped and being used, because there's games and backstabbing and stuff in Africa too. That's how the hell we got over here, some of us. And we need to be able to understand that. But look, the laws are going to change, I believe, as folks get smart. And a lot of folks who wouldn't identify as African American are going to find themselves cut out of all kinds of stuff. And it's going to blow their mind that they can't be honorary white. And those things are specifically for blacks from the United States. And yes, they do want to divide us, but in as much as those folks already chose to be separate from us, they're going to begin to hit these brick walls. And you'll see this maybe 5 to 10 years. Certain people and their leaders are going to say, we made a mistake. We should have dealt with the Black Americans differently. We should have looked at how we could come together versus saying, hey, look, they're down. Let me grab mine. They're the low-hanging fruit to knock over. This is coming. And this wouldn't have happened with anybody but this crazy president we have now. The other thing I want to say to you, and you'll see this, you notice all over the South, even Florida, from Florida all the way up to, I'd say, Virginia, white folk have been running black people out of coastal communities. Have you noticed that? Just Sea Island, Savannah, everywhere
Right.
black people, they got to get out. You know what? When you talk about global warming and all the flooding, that's what nobody's talking about right now with Florence. There's going to be a major, almost a biblical-like punishment for people taking that land from our people over and over and over again and driving people off the property that's been their family for years and marginalizing people. I wouldn't be surprised one day if there's a huge tsunami that hits places like Miami and all along coast, all the way up and down the coast. It'll be very interesting to see it happen, and it would just really put a hurting on a lot of these white communities that have been built up based on the displacement of black folks. You know, that will be so catastrophic. There'll be no way they could blame black people. After all, we don't control the weather. That would just blow people's mind. Can you imagine waking up one day and hearing like all of Myrtle Beach, or the nice white part of Myrtle Beach, or the Outer Banks of North Carolina? I mean, just a tsunami had taken all the folk out. And the black folks are still there. I mean, because they got pushed to the higher ground. So I was just saying to Ray Fontroy and other people, like California, as they're pushing black people out, don't feel bad. Leave California. Let them have it. The earthquake, Fukushima, all that stuff's out there. Fires. Maybe God's trying to tell black folk, get the hell out of Dodge before I really come down on these people. And I mean, if the folks, you know, fajita eaters want to be out there and push you out, go. But move to places like Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama in numbers. Move organized where you have a force. Can you imagine if 500,000 black folks moved into Tennessee? You know, that would just make, if a quarter of it, man, that was just, the whole world would almost end. You get rid of that little bald-headed Elton John, effeminate Cohen. Is he still your congressman? He looks like Elton John had a bone cut. I mean, or he looks like Elton John in chemo. Huh?
I hear you. Go ahead.
Well, are y'all gonna get rid of him now?
Well, you know, I think his time is coming up. We'll see. I don't know.
And so that's all I want to say to you. Now, just keep your eyes peeled. Don't be surprised, brothers and sisters, if it's a complete turnaround. One person I hope wins. I hope that SB wins in Mississippi. He's arrogant, and him chasing holes got him in trouble here in D.C. And he did all this stuff to help gay people, and they didn't help him when he needed them. See, black folks go on the edge to help this LGBTQ, and when you need it, you're by yourself. You know, San Francisco, the black community went to Tibet. All the way back to Huey Newton, the black folks embraced the gay community in San Francisco. Have you been to San Francisco and seen the black people living in the doo-doo and the syringes? Do you think they care? They've built more places for you to doo-doo, but no housing. And so I hope SB's learned something from that. Maybe he'll win. That'll be good for Mississippi. I think that they're going to beat Fat Girl in Georgia. They got Joe Biden going down there. She must be gay. She got all these gay people campaigning for her. Fat Girl. I mean, maybe she can win. I don't mind. I don't like any of the only Republican I like running is Hogan. He's running against Jealous. So if Fat Girl won in Georgia, I'd be happy. If Give 'em or Give It Up with a win in Florida, I'll be happy as long as he keeps the cracker out. Please, if you're in Texas, vote against that little bitch, Cruz. In fact, you know, his wife's a hoe and she's mental, and he looks like he's a liar. He looks like a Frito Bandito Joe McCarthy.
Donald Trump exposed his dad as being a friend of Oswald. Oswald.
He's dirty, and you know Rubio's a little sissy. I hope he loses too. They should call him Scrubio. You saw the picture of him with the little boys with no clothes on in the lather dancing.
Oh my God, no.
See what I'm saying? I told you, DC, it's like a vacuum cleaner for doo-doo. The only thing clean here are the black folks who live here. You know, I didn't ask to be born here, but I am, and so I just see it like it is.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I want anybody out there, I want to remind them, if you want a copy of the document about this bastard, Harry L. Williams, and no good, rabbit tooth, you could kick a field goal through the gap in his teeth. Oh, sorry, nigga, sell us out. If y'all want a copy of this case so y'all can share it and talk about him, and if you want, I can give you his office number. We can send him emails and tell him to repent and resign. We black people alone. Why don't you shut the white people's schools? Or in fact, shut your damn mouth. Find something else to do. Y'all can, wrandyshouldagmail.com. I will circulate that. I want everybody's got to know what a no good nigga this man is. And we got to save our schools, save our race, save our black queens, save our black kings, save our children, save the unborn generations, and save our black nation from internal and external enemies by any means necessary. I don't mind who don't like me. Our people have to survive. We have a right to exist, and our numbers are greater than what they say. If we can just hold on, black folks, men and women, are going to be kings and queens in the land of our ancestors' birth as well. We'll have a double heritage of that in Africa. We can bond with those over there that can work with us. We have to think that way. So I'm going to stop here. We got to talk again. There's so much to talk about. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, we're talking about the Supreme Court justice stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's Clarence Thomas 2.0, and he tried to steal some cooch. They should strip him from that. He looked like a liar, and I got to tell you, I met that nigga's mama way back. She used to work at my high school. That's no more than 4 blocks from the house I'm in right now. So she was racist, just like him. Okay. That's real talk. Look her up. She worked at McKinley High School. I'm a McKinley class president, vice president in 1983. She was either my brother's teacher or mine too. And the old racist teachers that were there that wished the school was white again were hanging on, hoping for the black ingress to the city to go down. I guess she gave the moved on. I'm certain that I know her or have heard of her or have met her. And she was one of the teachers of the school when the black kids rioted and were making bombs. So, I mean, he's no good. He's a liar. Just because I like Trump coming down on illegals, bringing dope and all this other kind of stuff, doesn't mean I like any of his appointees. Mm-hmm. I don't like him. I don't like Gorsuch. I don't like Sessions. I don't like DeVos. Oh, I got to talk about that lying, no good, effeminate. He should be called Flicted Hands. Ben Carson. That's coon. He's a despicable Sabbatarian coon. That Negro is out there talking about there's some communist conspiracy against Kavanaugh. You know what? There's a communist conspiracy against his wife getting like a facial and some decent clothes to wear. Have you seen the stuff she had on? I'm telling you, the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz had nicer stuff to wear. And that was a man. What's up with that, Ben? You're a millionaire, and your wife looked like she dressed at a TJ Maxx outlet. I mean, did you hear that 1/3 of his staff, he hired all these crackers with no experience in housing and quickly gave them raises up to $100,000, and they're not doing a damn thing for us. He's a chump. He's a liar. Dick Gregory said that he never performed those surgeries and that someone white did it. That's why he doesn't have a Nobel Prize. You know what? I used to respect him, but damn, he's so dumb. I mean, I used to work in the health science library for Howard, and I'm telling you, a lot of people that were medical folks, they were arrogant and stupid. Yeah, you know how to cut somebody up and sew all that, but you don't know no geography, no political science, no philosophy. The nigga was trained, he's not educated. There's a difference. A dentist is great on your teeth. That doesn't mean they know anything about the Constitution. It doesn't mean they know anything about Metternich or Richelieu, or they know anything about what? The greater Southeast Asian co-prosperity sphere. It means that they know this medical stuff. In fact, most doctors don't know anything about nutrition. That's why they're killing us. They do not know anything about pharmaceuticals. That's why they're killing us. They're about pushing pills, making money. Most doctors are selfish, narcissistic folks who don't know a hell of a lot of anything outside of they went through all that crushing and cramming to make a lot of money cutting people. It's not about healing. It's about getting paid, cutting, chopping, and selling pills. So, to him, they need to take all his pictures down. My mother bought his book for me. I'm glad I never read that stuff. Because, we run out of toilet paper. I might be inspired to do something real with the book. Now I'm brave. I don't care how it feels. So long as I know it's fleshed down to other stuff. This man, is such a disgrace. There was a guy named Clarence Pendleton who was a buffoon that worked for Reagan, and he died of a heart attack. I was so glad. I was on the exercise bike laughing, working in a mental hospital. People thought I was crazy. I said, I'm crazy with joy. And there was another one, Samuel Pierce. He was a guy for HUD for Reagan that started dogging all the black people in public housing. This man's a liar. He's an idiot. He's a fraud. And we won't even get into, it's to make me mad. We'll go in on Seventh-day Adventists, and I'm not trying to do that because I have SDA family. Whenever you see me not go in on something, it's because I do actually like my friends and family. I can't like bash too hard after like, but you know, he is a fool. He is a fool. He's a disgrace. In fact, there's a civil war going on in the Republican black circles. I have friends. These folks hate these people. You see around Trump, folk hate them. You're going to see some real strange things happen. I see black folks exploding in places like Chicago where they've shot other people, New York. They shot somebody. Folks are going to trip. And if they bring out any of these black folk around Trump, or they bring out that slut Paula White, who's a false prophet and a charlatan, stole the Black Widow's church from her, and all these Negroes are following her like she's Jesus. I mean, maybe they think heaven's between a white woman's leg. They still don't make her God, even if you think it will. I mean, why anybody need that tramp to lead them anywhere? I mean, she looks like something out of like one of those old 60s Western sitcoms. Gunsmoke, a little hole that has a little bar with a little whorehouse upstairs. I mean, no, don't make me feel nothing close to no God, okay? And so, you know, I think we could go on and on, but I want you to do something unusual.
Okay.
We absolutely need to do an election special. And that's not going to be too long from now. We need to do a review. Like, did you see the sister that won up in Massachusetts? That's going to be interesting to see what happens with her.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the little rough sister? Oh my God, I almost left it out. Have you noticed that they've been running a lot of black women in the Democratic Party? They're always single with jacked up hair. And I'm not a big hair person. In fact, I haven't had my hair cut all year. I'm not trying to cut it. Okay, so I'm doing kind of my tribute to what's his name? The dude from Ohio. The one who Don King. I'm doing my own tribute to Don King. Okay, so I cut my hair when I feel like it. But there's a sister who's running for her name is Word something. It'll come to me. This lady is running for the 14th Congressional District in Illinois. And she got like almost every gay thing in the world back in her. She's got everything but a dildo on her flyers, right? You know, oh, she put carpet up there, you know, instead of a flag, have a carpet with a rainbow on it. Let's even know where she's coming from. They're picking these sisters. They always have like difficult hairstyles. They're always single. And they're always heavily endorsed by gays and lesbians. Very weak black support. They're running this woman, and her name is Underwood. And said is no good. I think her name is like Laura Underwood or something like that. And I'm saying she is no good. I don't know who she is. She's running against some cracker that's Republican. But to me, if you're being pushed by LGBTQ and the baby killers, when they get in, that's all they're pushing is killing black babies, and everybody needs to be gay and transgender. Like the brother that got, not the brother, but the white dude from Greece that got fired from one of the University of North Carolina schools because he wrote down that women didn't have penises.
They don't have penises.
you just lost your job.
Oh my God. Okay.
So no, dude got fired for saying women don't have penises, and he got fired from his job, and basically ran out of school. And told him stop insulting people. So I have to now assume that women have penises if I want to work at certain public universities. For all the folks out there who are same-sex attracted, I mean, if that's what you want, you'll have a lot of folks eventually that are going to flip out on you. Because if all women have penises, why aren't more women buying jock straps Why aren't more women buying stuff for jock itch, right? And why do we need different men and women's restrooms since everybody's got a dick, right? And then how does the baby get out of the urethra of the penis? And how come it happens to women but not to men? If you're going to argue that.
Right.
You know, I'm just being ridiculous to show you how stupid this thing is. And I'm not obsessed on it, but I'm like, God, that's ridiculous. It's one thing is whatever sex you're going to have, but to impose that where people now have to pretend. So pretty soon dogs will be cats, cats will be dogs, blacks will be whites, which is what they're trying to do. Transracial. I identify as black. Right. Do you know where that stuff started? It started at Harvard. I was there. I had this big white butch that looked like Fred Flintstone, who started talking about having an identity as a black woman. When my mother came to visit me when I was in grad school, I was so embarrassed. And I told her, you know what? You can adopt a black girl. You can live next door to a black woman. You could be married to a black woman. You'll always be a fat white dyke. Okay? She bust out crying in class. What are you crying about? Like a big lambda sign on and all that. I mean, that's what you want people to know. Why do I have to accept you as a black person? So this big party that they invited me to come to. Be careful when white people invite you to a party. Normally they want to roast you.
Right.
One way or the other. They want to have me come in so all the white lesbians could jump on me and say, she was complaining that I destroyed her identity as a black woman. I didn't go to the party. I know
that's right.
I don't even like the food. I mean, there's going to be beer everywhere. I don't know if you've been around a lot of white folk when they've drank beer.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, right. I won't go any further. And I'm thinking, not interesting. And to have to listen to maybe, some Ariel Smith or something like that. Music I don't buy. I've never bought any music like that. The only reason I've listened to them was Walk This Way, and that's what the black group was doing something with their stuff. I don't want to be around that. So I found out that they were at the party and all the people crying and cursing me for snubbing them. I'm thinking, shoot, if you consider black people inferior, why would you want me at your damn party? All that says is that morally, I have the moral authority to say who and who isn't black, and so do you. And so the little frauds like Rachel Dolezal, who went to Howard with me as well. Damn, all the weird people, I'm telling you. And the cool Negro down in Alabama. Remember Arthur David?
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
Up with him, too.
Wow, he was so confused. He became a Republican then. First he was like an Obama Democrat, then became a Republican.
Well, he's a sheep-publican, but I'll just say this to you about dude. Okay, that I remember watching dude make a deal, or try to make a deal, to get rid of most of the black urban housing in downtown Mobile to lure EDS America. These are people that build Airbuses and large planes. To get them to come to Mobile, they were willing to get rid of the black section of the city.
Wow.
And he did that with a straight face. Now I saw this. You taught Arthur, I said it. That nigga went to school with me. You're a chump, Arthur. You're weak. And you've had enough money to get married. You're not broke like me. Why are you single? You know I know why. And I saw you in the picture with Obama where he's dressed up like the devil with a smile on your face. I thought you didn't like Obama. What's that all about? See what I'm saying? We need to start calling people out. Calling people out. And Arthur Davis, why isn't he doing something about hookworm? We're not talking about the hookworm you want, Arthur. It's the hookworm people don't want. Huh? I'm talking to you, Negro. Fake nigga. All weak. The dude looked like SpongeBob with the bad afro. He got his hair cut down. He used to really look bad. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I don't care.
I gotta ask you about the Cosby thing coming down today.
Oh yeah, it's coming down today. Well, I told you about this a long time ago, right? Now, did you hear that Cosby didn't pay his attorneys? He didn't pay, I think, the guy Garagos, the one who's supposed to get Michael Jackson off. Yeah. Not Garagos, it's another one. The one with the white hair.
I know you're talking about. The one who got him out last time.
The one that looks like Meryl Streep with white hair.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. The one who was Michael Jackson hair for his last trial.
Yes, but he does look like Meryl Streep.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Go ahead.
Okay. Look, I'm hoping that Cosby gets probation. But you heard that the judge refused to recuse himself, and they've done everything. They really want to put a blade in Cosby, okay? They really want to punish him. And so I'm hoping that he doesn't have to spend the rest of his life in jail. But I have a feeling they're going to do something like 3 to 5. And I'm hoping not. In my spirit, first and foremost, I was mad. I don't know. Remember when I was back in the rape?
Yeah.
I was mad because it's like, damn, Bill, you said all that stuff about family you don't talk to or have no, And, then you start to look at the trial and say, man, I got to be bigger than that. This is your people, man. You can't, he's done a lot of great stuff. I'm certain there's some asshole in him. My father, I love my father, but the men in this family, they're all assholes. They are. They're great men, they're assholes. So there's some asshole in Bill Cosby. I'm certain it's there. There's some asshole in all of us. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just talking about where the doodle goes out. I'm talking about just asshole in terms of that. So I don't know, but I don't want to see him get it. But I'm feeling like I'm hoping for probation. I'm hoping for some like 10-year probation, a community service. I just don't think that they're going to be merciful to Cosby. I think they're going to teach him a lesson, and all the people are going to be dancing on TV celebrating. There'll be all the black lesbians and all the little coons, females who have white women or white male lovers celebrating their victory. But Cosby, he's never, this entire time you and I have been talking, has never said black people, they're not going to give me justice, but I didn't do this. I need your prayers. I need your support. You guys matter. The pound cake, I'm talking about a specific thing, but that shouldn't justify me not getting a fair trial, blah, blah, blah. He's never come and says, I need you, sisters and brothers. Brother, I call you when I need something, help me, right? Mm-hmm. We're never going to get anywhere as strong individuals. We'll only get there as strong people. That's why, we had this, gathering of people who are believers who tried. I'm trying to find, you see me on the phone, I'm there trying to find people because I'm completely incapable as an individual to do but so much. But if a group of strong people with vision, we can do something. Cosby trusted in the Boule coons, and they've let him know that they let anybody down because they don't give a damn about anybody. Mm. In reality, the only people that are going to be down for you are that bottom 80% of black folks. There's a good number of them who don't have to be rich. They've never bowed down to white power, no matter how many opportunities and things they've cheated, they've been taken from them, or they've been through. They're still true to certain principles as black people. Those folks are golden. And I've talked to people from all over the world, Africans, everybody else know if you meet a good, righteous African American, they're second to nobody. I believe that Cosby surrounded himself with yes men and women and other things, and real people who might say Cosby, it's effed up to get that big high-priced lawyer from California. Why not get a local person that can fight? Why not do this? Why not go to a couple of churches? Why not pray? Why not go somewhere and repent and say, I was a hoe, but I didn't rape that woman, right? Mm-hmm. Just small things that you could do. I know what it's like to be accused of raping someone or sexually assaulting someone. And when the first thing other people know is I didn't do it, I went and called and says, no, never. I never hit it. I never tried to. I was nice to the person. I never put my hands any place that could be construed on trying to get it. That person's lying. You've got to do certain things when you're accused of something sexually. If you don't do that, then you leave it open. Bill Cosby has been let down by his publicity team. They haven't reached out. They could have gotten these people. There's no online fight or defense of Cosby. It's only one story. He's being done in by people close to him. and I only think maybe 5 p.m. tomorrow, if there's some crazy sentence, well, he may think and say, could this have been done differently? And the question will be, who can even talk to anybody? Because, these black folks have gotten so high on their level. Like when I went to my pastor to try to warn him, hey, Hillary and them have a trap for you, and Gaddafi and Libya don't go. But I was nobody, even with this understanding, to say anything. Imagine if I had something to tell you, brother,
Mm-hmm.
and you says, well, you're not a medical doctor. You can't share this with me. Like, I've got a friend who's in Jackson. I had a vision for son being murdered by either a policeman or someone, a black person in Jackson, Tennessee. I told her, and she went off on me. Do you know he got shot dead about the same time of the year on the same street that I told her on?
Mm-hmm.
She knows and I know, and I'm not trying, I feel so bad. The one, it was to prevent it from happening. If you ever saw that movie Denzel Washington was in where he could go back in time and undo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've got wise people in our environment, brothers and sisters, our Dick Gregory's, our Joe Browns, these people who see stuff. If you listen to them, if you talk to them, even when things are arrayed against you, you've got a capacity, at least a counter plan. Do you get where I'm coming from? You can do something.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, you just get blindsided. But you've got to have your ear to the ground and be open to people. I've had people do things to help me, people I didn't even know. But I have to be receptive. Sometimes there's some jackasses. You weed them out.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there are people you don't know. They've got something that's just for you. You don't know who sent them your way. And if you're like, well, you're not in social media, you're not an entrepreneur, I can't talk to you, you're right. And you miss that. Are you feeling me? And so Cosby has to reconnect in a real way to his people. This could be a blessing in disguise, because if they say Bill Cosby gets 20 years, there's going to be a cry from black people across the country. People are going to say, oh no. We often wait, we're reactive instead of proactive. If they say 15 years, if they say 30 years, which means he dies in jail, some people are going to finally want to know what's been going on. Are you getting where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And it may just take Bill Cosby. Oh God, it hurts. His ass being locked up and his wife being free to talk to people and really put it out there what happened, because Cosby, he didn't fight this thing. You look at Weinberg. Weinberg is taking no prisoners on these holes whether he raped or not.
Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein.
Weinstein, small hat rapist from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Weinstein, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I am.
Yeah.
Weinstein's taking no prisoners. Weinstein is bringing out tapes. He's fighting these hoes back. They keep coming out with charges. He keep coming up with stuff. You remember he put that thing where the woman said she loved him after this woman said she has been raped. Dude is putting that, and we know he's a predator, but he's got no shame. He doesn't mind destroying white women because he's a Khazar. He sees them as, shiksas, whores.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cosby had too much deference to white womanhood to save his own skin. I got accused of raping a white female when I was in divinity school. I got accused of another person. Someone didn't touch, didn't want, didn't like. Had I been quiet, they would have probably done something to me. The first thing I did was call the person the story went to and told them how ugly she was, how repulsed, how insulted I was. how nobody wanted her, how that bitch had rape fantasies, and none of us is trying to fulfill it, okay? Nobody wants to. Nobody. I mean, in fact, if I woke up with her, I'd be scared. I'd check myself in the mental hospital. And I told that white dude, if you dare do this, everybody must say that you put her up to do it. I'm going to get your house. I'm going to get your wife. I'm going to get your kids. If you try to run this game on me, try to put me in this ugly, Raggedy Ann looking broad with the gap in it. If a white girl with a gap, that don't even look good. That doesn't look like a little bovine looking white broad. Say somebody touch. I don't want her. Mm-hmm. So I went off on him. I threatened that dude. Says, y'all bring him up there. I'm going to say you did it. The fact that you spoke to her and y'all didn't rape test her. I got your ass. I got you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to destroy everybody. I'm not going to go down like this. White people relate to that. Trying to find the happy medium to go and get along. You'll go and get along right to your lynching. And that's what's happened to Bill Cosby. He didn't really fight. He didn't fight this like it was serious. He has that advisor, his PR person has to be some kind of a coon. The coons around Cosby, people who just, well, George Bush isn't so bad, and he was 43rd president, and he came from a life of... These kind of black people that won't say that's a racist, corrupt so-and-so, right? Mm-hmm. The black people who lose their black fight, their connection, their realness, they're useless to everybody, and that becomes a way that they can be taken down. Look at what's happened to Serena Sarias. Mm. She got with that so-called billionaire. I mean, if you got $13 billion, motherfucker, take out full-page ads and denounce that judge and the whole tennis association and tell them that you're going to set up a tennis association where you'll be the damn judge. And y'all will have purses of $1 million each time because he's got billions. Do you realize how many people would want to be in that? And we're going to change the whole system how we classify who the best tennis players are. You got $13 billion, so you say, then give $1 billion to Serena, invest in your woman's career. Well, weak cracker, wait until she's showing pregnant to marry her. Do you think he respects her? Mm. Look at how her game has gone down, and look at how he's putting out tweets. You're a billionaire. You own Reddit, bitch. You could have done all kinds of stuff. When you marry one of those cave boys, they don't want to fight for you. They don't love you. Mm-hmm. So caught up in the fact that somebody white's laid up with her. Shoot, you almost had someone white, Common's white as him, and Common's not as weak as he is. I mean, shoot. And Common looked better with no hair. I mean, look at that. I mean, look at how pale. I mean, it looks like some albacore tuna with some wig on it. And look at how her game has gone down. They're pushing back against her. She's losing everything. Tiger Woods was a winner till he got with that Swedish hoe. When you sell out your people, when you move and try like be universal, yes, black is already universal. We got shipped all over the world. I got family on every continent except for maybe Australia. Actually, I got a close friend who grew up, almost had family. Well, almost. I did have a black Australian, South African girl. Almost had family in Australia. I have family in every continent except for the South Pole in Australia that I'm aware of. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I may have them there too. I just don't know. What's not universal about the black experience, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't Michael Jackson universally recognized? Isn't Mahalia Jackson universally recognized? Isn't James Brown universally recognized? Mm-hmm. Isn't Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, Cal Basie, Duke Ellington? Mm-hmm. Okay, just you name it, Michael Jordan. We're the most universal people in the goddamn world, and yet we somehow think, well, black isn't universal. It's got to somehow be denatured. Says who? Says who? Says when? Right? Mm-hmm. Isn't Beyonce universal? Right. Right? Diana Ross universal? Mm-hmm. We could just music alone. Herschel Walker. We could just go through all the athletes and stars and people, and everybody's universal. Harry Belafonte, universal. Lynn T. Price, universal. Marian Anderson, universal. We've been universal when we were segregated. Frederick Douglass, universal. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Fisk Jubilee Singers, universal. We're the most universal. I mean, think about it. What makes things more universal than culture? Isn't fried chicken universal? Aren't potato chips universal? Beans and rice universal? Kitchen cooking? Popcorn, shrimp? You go all over the world. You show me how much stuff we're eating from other places and compare that to how the African American culinary thing is worldwide. They don't call it African American, they say Southern cooking, but who the hell did the cook? Catfish and cornbread, that's everywhere. Barbecue, Southern barbecue, we should say West African via the American South barbecue. It's very universal. Where's Lauryn Hill learn this stuff from? Where did Seal learn it from? Where did Jonathan, what's the guy from South Africa? I think Jonathan Edwards, I may have his name wrong. You know what I'm talking about, the one that had the song Lies. You got all these people from all over the world singing. George Michael, who do you think he's listening to? All these, I don't care how they end up, who was Elton John listening to? Who were the Rolling Stones listening to? The Beatles, everything they got, who were they watching? Who made, did you know, in fact, I learned this from, what's his name, from Dick Gregory. Who made John Wayne a star?
Never fetch right.
Got you. Who represents America more than John Wayne to a certain generation of people? Right? Frank Sinatra, who was his favorite singer?
There you go, Frank Sinatra.
Billie Holiday.
Okay.
In case you didn't know that. Billie Holiday is his all-time favorite singer. I'm trying to do this like Billy would do it. White male trying to imitate a black woman and wasn't afraid to tell anyone. Who's more identified with American music back then than Frank Sinatra? And who is Glenn Miller imitating other than he's trying to be a white Louis Armstrong? Elvis Presley, who is he trying to be? Ike Turner. He's trying to be Big Bill Brunsley, right? All the stuff that you identify as American, no matter how you cut it or slice it, it ends up being black at its core. And we're not universal. Sit down. Sears and Roebuck, mail order. Who's Roebuck? Right? It's just the Ford. Where did Ford get the car from? Right? American junk food, sugar, Rillo, right? Just every time you think about something, it comes back to what? On a certain level, there's some connection to our people. We're very universal. How dare us think that we're parochial? You might be segregated and reviled in America, but it doesn't mean you're not universal. Absolutely does not mean that you're universal. We are very much universal because we're the only people that you find everywhere. I've been to every continent except for the South Pole. And I found black people in Korea. They don't call themselves black, but they got nappy hair. I was in Ireland and I saw Irish people with nappy hair and dark skin. They don't call themselves, well, they get called black Irish. They don't call themselves black, but they know. I met them and they have to smile and say, yeah. I'm looking at you. I know why you're looking at me. We had the darkest people walking down the street. I was in Iran at the Shah's house. There was a guy that looked like Byron Allen from Real People. And he stopped and he smiled. And yes, I'm a black Iranian. We took pictures of me. Yeah, I'm black. I'm people. No, I'm from here, right? Everywhere I've been, Asia, I've found we're the only people that everywhere. So where did this idea come from that we are parochial? The only people who have recently branched out and gone everywhere, the ones who have created all the problems. In fact, they're so parochial wherever they go, they destroy all the cultures and take their stuff and impose it on everyone else and then don't even want to share it. And then make fun of how you don't speak the very language they won't teach you as well as they do. As if you're supposed to somehow know it just enough to be my slave, but not enough to converse with me. Okay, so that's who's parochial. You show me a black people that went all over the earth destroying people's religion and culture and agriculture and systems. Just everything had to be destroyed. There's no way they could work with it. You're universal because there's nowhere you can't go where you can't blend. Okay? You've got a huge black community in Copenhagen, Denmark. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And it's those huge, maybe 10, 15,000 people. They're loved by the Danish people. The Danish don't like the new Africans and others have come over. They like the black Americans who came over. They could blend. You don't even know they're there. You don't hear about racial incidents because they've come in, made apart, people like them. You got black folks in France. They've been there 100 years. Nobody complains. They're in Tanzania. They're blending.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're universal. We all learn to fit in and get along with. You've got, I remember there was a music queen in Australia. There's a black lady who's a music queen in Australia in the 80s, had a lot of hits down there. You don't hear about her here. Wherever you send us, we become important. Take Dennis Rodman's whole ass father, who has maybe 100 children.
Mm-hmm.
He fits in just fine. Put us anywhere and we blend, and don't push other people out and make them unwelcome in their own land of birth, but become a part of them. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
You take Matthew Henson's descendants that live up at the North Pole. They still like Matthew Henson. They still hate the white people he came with. Because the black dude could blend, was friendly. In fact, the woman was determined to get pregnant by the black dude so they could have one. And travel anywhere as a black man and see how fast folks are running. I mean, you have to have a padlock on your belt. Folks trying to keep something when you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're universal. And you go to certain places, and if you do find hatred, it's usually the males who don't know how to relate to their own women. Okay, if you learn anything about Germany, about the riots and things that happened there with the white guys, both German and American, that couldn't even relate to their own white women, that didn't want the black guys anywhere because they couldn't compete. How can you be in the land of Hitler and you can't even relate to your own white woman?
Mm.
You got white skin, racism, all this stuff stacked up, and you can't relate. And that's why most mass killers are white dudes that can't get none.
Yeah.
Big gun, small penis, inflated sense of importance, and nobody agrees with you. All you know how to do is pull the trigger because you can't get an erection. Anyway, let me stop there.
Dr. Shaw, thank you on behalf of We All Be and the family. We love you madly, in the words of Duke Ellington. They keep on producing and pushing.
Thank you, my brother. Peace out. Peace out.
Yes,
Peace
brother.
to you. All right.
Peace to you.